College Bears. Welcome back to the Aspired television production of the SIAC Game of the Week. We're here in the Iron City of the South, Birmingham, Alabama, at historic Legion Field. You see the big M at the center of the field. They have moved Miles' home game to the larger venue to accommodate such a large crowd today. We have kickoff, and returning will be number 1 Cedric Poole inside his own 5-yard line. He gets out to the 20 and is upended at the 26-yard line, and that's where the Bears from Miles College will take over, led by their quarterback, David Whipple. Eric.
I am excited this game to see these two monsters go at it. It's a battle of the Titans, a clash of the Titans, if you will. I can't wait to see Whipple take this offense down the field.
This is a Whipple team that has won a conference championship on last season. This year, along with Tuskegee, both teams lost to eventual Western Division champion Kentucky State, who will make it to the championship game that you can watch right here on Aspire next week. You see the numbers for Whipple: 1,200 yards passing, 9 touchdowns as opposed to only 4 interceptions. And his first play from scrimmage, he does not find anyone open, but he has a receiver late, finds one that is open in Trey Smith, but there is a flag on the play.
A great move by Whipple. He rolls out, looked like a design naked bootleg, and finds an open receiver downfield in Trey Smith.
And it appears that a defensive back for Tuskegee was holding in Jamarcus Ezel. Check that number 16. It should have been Darnell Hill. I think they called the wrong number there. But a huge first down for Miles. They are now in Tuskegee territory. Once again, a bootleg opportunity for the Bears, and they find Vincent Davis, another positive yard, close to another Bear first down. So far, so good for this offense that has sometimes so far this season sputtered a little bit.
And I look for this Miles College team to play an up-tempo game today. Whipple is going to try to hurry up, get the ball off to keep this Tuskegee defense, who leads the nation in a lot of statistical categories, off balance.
Ball now at the 34-yard line of Tuskegee. Opening drive here at the showdown at sundown here at Legion Field. And once again, another pass play by the Bears, but this time it's the Golden Tigers defense that is there to wrap things up. Leading the way, number 5, Osmond Thompson, plays that linebacker position, strong side, very well.
He plays it like none other.
Let's take a look at the offensive line for Miles. Mac Womack Ruffin, no relation to the head coach, Tucker and Patrick. The backs and wide receivers, Nance Denson, Smith Bell, and Vincent Davis. And quarterback David Whipple, who is a senior, his final home game for Miles. And a design run for Whipple, and he gets wide, but this time he is pushed out of bounds by Eugene Leach, playing up from that strong safety position for the Golden Tigers.
Leach recognized right off the bat that Whipple was going to keep it around the corner.
Once again, the backs and receivers for Miles College, impressive, but not as impressive as they were last year in their championship run in the SIAC. 3rd down, and let's call it 6. They need to get inside the 24-yard line for a first. Design run again by Whipple. This time he makes a juke move, gets closer to the first down, but maybe about 2 yards short. Let's take a look at that vaunted defense by the young men of Tuskegee: Morgan, Ramseur, Khalid James, and Darryl George. The linebackers very impressive: Quavon Taylor, Thompson, and Khalil Gray. And defensive backs also rather intimidating: Leach, Holmes, McCutcheon, and Hill. Now it'll be a field goal attempt by Nick Christensen for Miles.
That's going to be a 45-yard attempt.
Kick is up and no good. They will say that it is wide left. So far for Miles, they were able to drive down, knock on the door, but not get it open. And for Tuskegee, their lock on their defense has been solid.
Nick Christensen, the kicker for Miles, I've seen him in this very facility kick a 54-yard field goal, so he definitely has the leg, but this time he just didn't quite have the accuracy. So
far, the Tuskegee defense, everything is advertised, bend but do not break. And now it's time to see Kevin Lacey, the all-everything quarterback for the Golden Tigers, from right down the road there. 6'6", 175 pounds. He is a tall drink of water, as they would say out here in Alabama, but he's a very effective quarterback for the team from Tuskegee. And they will start on the ground and gets a huge opening run play. Great job by Brandon Gaynor, the freshman, 5'11", 207, getting the start, the young man out of Miami.
And Coach Slater talked about him earlier this week, that he was a true freshman, but he did not play like one. He just runs downhill, and that's what you want your backs to do.
First down out at the 41-yard line. That's the way you want to start if you're trying to get your offense going early. Once again, a run play. This time Lacey with a nice juke move, able to get the first down and more out beyond midfield into Bear territory. And as you can see, the young man is fired up.
And Lacey with a great move outside, fakes out Austin Stevens, the linebacker who had the responsibility for the contain, got outside.
Let's take a look at that offensive line. Heavy Florida influence. Richardson Shelton, Antoine Dorsey, and Leeward Brown coming back from injury. Jajarian Craig, Wilson Bowens, Desmond Reese, and a MVP candidate, and Leo Gilbert rounds it off at the tight end position, along with Kevin Lacey, the signal caller. Same with a full house backfield, gives to Gaynor again. Once again, he is able to elude the first line of defense and now get inside the 40-yard line down to about the 36.
And
let's take a look at the defense for Miles College. Bonds, McKenzie, and Burgess place at 3-4, but the jack position, more of a defensive end. Ford, Slade, Filion, and Stevens. Defensive backfield, very impressive. Cedric Poole, a NFL candidate. Randall Duncan to round off the defensive backfield along with Worthen. Lacey looking for a receiver deep, has one, and incomplete. Pass intended for obviously his favorite receiver this season, Desmond Reese, who has already caught 32 receptions so far this season from Lacey.
Caleb Duncan, the defensive back, is the one that broke up this play. Outstanding job staying with the receiver, making the play. And as Lacey takes the snap, he pump fakes. The defensive back didn't bite. Duncan right there to break up the pass, incomplete, bringing up a third down for the Golden Tigers.
They need to get inside the 33-yard line. Third down. Lacey, with time, cannot find a receiver, has the ability to run, but this time he will try to throw it away. Interception by the Bears. Pull. 10, 5, touchdown, Miles College. Big play by a big-time player.
Cedric Poole returns it for the touchdown. He read the quarterback's eyes all the way. On the snap, Lacey all day to throw the football. Protection finally breaks down, and he does the thing that they tell quarterbacks not to do. Try to force a situation. He forces the ball. Poole, Johnny on the spot, takes it to the promised land. Touchdown, Miles College.
And for Poole, his fourth interception of the season, the senior from Birmingham, Alabama, by way of Mississippi Delta College. And now for the point after attempt, Nick Christensen. Kick is up, and it is good. 9:34 left to play in the first quarter. The offense not able to strike first blood, but senior Cedric Poole with an interception return for a score right here on Aspire.
Hi.
And it starts with defense. You see senior Cedric Poole, the recipient of a gift from Tuskegee. He had an interception return for a touchdown. And you see that 7. It looks like they will have a re-kick due to holding on the kicking team. So it looks like Nick Christensen will have another opportunity to make it officially 7-0. And he gets the luck of the rebound off of the goalpost, but yes, it is good for Nick Christensen. The second time around is always sort of treacherous there, Eric.
It always is. They tell you never take points off the board, but since the penalty was against Miles College, they had to retry, and he gets, if this was basketball, I'd say the shooter's roll.
All right, the shooter's roll. Okay. And as you can see, Coach Slater does not like to see his team have those turnovers that they can control, and that was one there by Lacey that they could have controlled. He could have thrown it away.
And he talked earlier this week about the inconsistency at quarterback. He's up and down, and he's lost focus sometimes, but he said that Lacey had a good week of practice, that everything, he seemed dialed in and focused, and early in the game we saw that.
7-0 is your score. And now it's time for Tuskegee to try to answer the bell. Back deep is Ladario Petway. And they will take it to one of the upbacks who has a nice spin move. And Shane Ward, one of their reserve defensive backs, and he's able to get a nice return. And Tuskegee will take over at their own 26-yard line. Now, if you're Kevin Lacey, do you still stay as aggressive as you were in that last series, even though it did end in points for the other team?
What you want to do, and this is what they have to do, is when you get Lacey on the sideline, settle him down. He seemed a little hyped up, amped up coming into the game. Do some things that are in his wheelhouse or in his comfort zone.
It looked like it was all comfort in the first drive until that third down deep in Miles territory, and it ended in a long return for a score for the Bears. Now Lacey trying to run the option, and he uses his legs, sprints out, but is wrapped up, but not before he gains about 4 on the carry.
A great run by Lacey. And you see Lacey coming on the option. He makes the read. They commit to the pitch man, so he is taught to turn up and take what the defense gives you, and that's what he does. Takes it upfield, picks up about 4 yards, 2nd down and 6, manageable situation.
Filion on the tackle, just one of those young freshmen for Miles. Coming out of the eye, they give it to Gaynor, and this time he is strung out by a sea of purple shirts that really sniffed that one out. Cedric Poole also there from the safety position to help make the tackle on Brandon Gaynor.
Cedric Poole is a prime-time player. I'm excited when I watch this guy come down.
Now, once again, a 3rd down situation. Last time it was a return of an interception for a score. But now let's see what they'll do to try to calm down Kevin Lacey, the quarterback for Tuskegee, but also keep this drive alive. Lacey. This time he is wrapped up and thrown to the ground. Big play by Ashton McKenzie. He leads the team with 5 sacks, make it 6.
And that offensive line this time, that was a question mark coming into this game as they started a true freshman at guard. And now you've got a 4th down situation, and Miles is going to have to get the ball back. Lacey looking, has nowhere to go with the football. You might call it a coverage sack, but that defensive line got penetration, ending this drive.
Hall to do the punting for Tuskegee. And it will be caught by Poole, and he goes out of bounds immediately. Ball will be spotted at the 34-yard line. When we come back, we will see if Miles College offense can answer the explosive nature of Cedric Poole on an interception return for a score. You're watching SIAC football right here on Aspire.
I'm telling you,
The future Bear cheerleaders, as you can see, they are learning how to cheer Miles College way.
They're always cute at that age.
Miles with a 7-0 lead. And number 12, Jamarcus Nance on the carry. Stopped by Quavon Taylor. Taylor, one of those huge defensive players for Tuskegee. He is 6 foot 235, a junior playing that middle linebacker. This is a young man that they have NFL interest in, playing that middle linebacker position.
And not only does he have that side.
Second down and quick pass over. Nice quick stop and go to Devin Brown, and Devin Brown able to get some positive yards.
And that Tuskegee defense, we were talking just now about Quavon Taylor. He's a speedster for his size. He can cover sideline to sideline, as you just saw in that previous play. He was also in the mix making that tackle.
It's going to be difficult for him on the next level because he is 6 feet, but there are a lot of under height-wise linebackers that are doing very well in the National Football League. Over David Whipple on the keeper, able to get the first down and more out to about midfield. That offensive line for Miles College doing a good job of pushing back the rather large defense of Tuskegee.
And that was a called run for Whipple. Whipple takes the snap, gets behind his back, great block by number 68. And that was Theodore Victim.
And Whipple, this time his intended receiver, Ernest Bell Jr., looks like he led him a little bit too much, incomplete. Coverage by Darius Holmes. Brings up a second down and 10. And you see Whipple, this is one of the, I can say, legendary players for Miles. He is able to bring home a championship under the leadership of Coach Ruffin. Now on second down with a 5-wide set. He's going to give it to Brown. No, he's going to keep it on the option play. Gets out to midfield into Tuskegee territory for a third down situation.
And when you run that read option, it's difficult to stop when you run it correctly. Because defensive ends, you're reading that defensive end. You're not going to block him. You want to see what that defensive end does. If he goes up the field, the quarterback takes it, runs with it. If he tries to widen out, you give it to the back.
Staying with that 5-wide set, Brown staying in as that slot receiver. Whipple getting pressure, this time throwing high and incomplete. Could have been a big play if Trey Smith, standing at 6'2", could have climbed the ladder and picked it up. Good coverage there by Eugene Leach.
And Trey almost stabbed that ball out of the air like a falcon on a finch. Whipple looking downfield, got some pressure, couldn't step into the throw, was just a little behind his intended receiver, almost making a key play and a first down for those Miles College Bears.
And now they're working on that left hamstring. Looked like he may have pulled something trying to go up for that one. He looks like me if I was trying to just jump. All right, punting situation obviously for Miles College. Christensen with the punt. And fumble on the play. Ball is loose, but Tuskegee able to get the recovery. Good call, stop there. Johnny on the spot. Khalil Gray doing a good job on special teams, but right now it is homestanding Miles with a 7-0 lead. But can Tuskegee keep the Miles College cheerleaders silent for a little while longer? And remember, coming up at halftime, the Graduates NYC new web series right here on Aspire at halftime of all of our HBCU games and also on aspire.tv. And as you can see, fired up is what the Miles College faithful are. And also you see Kevin Lacey for the Golden Tigers. He's trying to get his team out of an early 7-0 deficit. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. 4:42 left to play here in the opening quarter. Showdown at sundown here at historic Legion Field. And opening carry does not go far for Jajarian Craig, young man out of Demopolis, Alabama.
And I don't know, have you ever been to Demopolis, James?
I think I have driven through or seen the exit and did not stop.
The Army Corps of Engineers has a huge influence in that area, so I always love to drive through there. Great natural forest, great place if you want to go camping.
Okay, I've never seen an artificial forest, but that's okay.
No.
Second down and 9. Coming up is Veterans Day, so we do send our salute to all the troops, past, present, and even those in the future. And the future is now for Lacey. That could be intentional grounding. He is thrown to the ground. And we'll see what the official call is on that play. Jamari Ford should get credit for the sack, but let's see what the official call is.
And the flag is out.
Intentional ground.
And right now, Jamari Ford gets credit for the sack, the young man out of Savannah, Georgia, one of those seniors along that defensive front playing that jack position. And now it looks like Kevin Lacey is trying to do too much, and the end result is he's getting touched.
And that one was on Lowell Richardson, the left tackle. Lowell just got plain beat that play. It was a clean shot, but Lacey should have just held on to the football and taken the sack.
Third down and forever. He needs to get out beyond the 30 to get close to a first down. This time Lacey on the run. He can run and shows that those long legs are not there for nothing. Comes to another first down. That's how you make up for a mistake in the flag. You showed I have other skills, and Lacey does definitely have that.
And that's what you do. What play, they ask, what play do you have for a third down and 20? How about a Kevin Lacey special up the gut of the defense? The offensive line, stellar job creating a hole that you and I could have both run through, James.
I would have tried to run, and then my hammy would have most likely gotten me. I don't know about yours. Now they're going to have a measurement to see if it's going to be fourth and short or enough for the first down. And let's see. Oh, yeah, he's well short. Looks like he needs to get about 1.5 yards. Yeah, we'll call it a yard, and it'll be fourth down, and the punting unit will come on for Tuskegee. But I think that negative is actually a positive because they were able to get some of those yardage back and make it an easier opportunity for their punter.
And like you were talking about, Kevin Lacey, he just doesn't seem settled right now. So what they need to do is run plays that are in his wheelhouse that he's comfortable executing.
John Picaro will handle the punting duties. And this one goes off the side of his foot, and it does take a semi-Tuskegee bounce, gets beyond midfield, but it will be spotted. Very good field position for Miles at about the 48-yard line. And so far, a quiet but confident Miles College fan base as their team has a 7-0 lead.
Excuse me. What do you think you'd pay for this smartphone?
A few hundred.
That's top of the line, more like $425.
More like $9.
What? That's not possible.
It is on DealDash.com. See, DealDash.com.
And the defense for Miles College doing a good job of keeping Tuskegee at bay. And now it's time for the Golden Bear offense to take the field. Option play by Whipple. He's going to give it out to Nance, and Nance is met immediately and wrapped up, leading the way. Quavon Taylor and company, the white shirts of the Golden Tigers, not having it from Jamarcus Nance.
And that's how a defense plays the option. So the high school players, if you're watching this in college teams, that is how a defense plays the option. You spread it out, keep everything running sideline to sideline. That gives that defense a chance to close in and make a play.
Loss of 2, second down and 12. Brown in motion. Whipple whips it out and splits the needle, threads it out and finds Devin Brown. And what I mean, he sent a bullet. It went through the hands of one defender and finds his receiver able, and that was Christian Mays on the reception.
And Whipple here looking, and I don't know how Taylor, the middle linebacker, misses this interception, but a great throw nonetheless.
And check that was Devin Brown on the reception. And looks like movement along the line, should be a free play for the Bears, throwing it long. Catch, oh no, incomplete, intended for Trey Smith, and that was an incompleted pass.
Offsides, defense, number 12, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And that was great coverage by that Tuskegee defense. Nowhere to go with the football. He just put it up there because he had a free play.
Free play, which means they did gain 5 yards. And it'll be 1st and 5 for the Bears. And he's going to try to hold on to it on that exchange on the option play, riding Nance, and it seems though that slowed Nance down just enough for Tuskegee to make the tackle, but he was able to gain possibly 1 yard to make it 2nd and 4.
And that play was actually set up by defensive end number 21, Darryl George, on the opposite side, because George gave a hard read that Whipple couldn't commit one way or the other.
Nance slices through the line, able to get close to the first down depending on the spot. Looks like he has enough to move the chains and get closer to a touchdown.
And that was a play that Miles College needs to make as they picked up the first down. This time they ran at Darryl George, and see what happens.
Part of a large stable of running backs. You can see possibly 6 to 8 different people running the football for Miles College this evening. Bell on the reception, able to break the line of scrimmage, may have gained just 1. Once again, that Tuskegee defense able to sniff out anything the Bears are trying to throw quick along that line.
They always say the scenario, speed kills, and that Tuskegee defense has speed. They close on lateral plays quickly.
Ernest Bell, that's his 25th reception of the season. He's already have over 250 yards receiving and a touchdown. Whipple, this time Taylor on the blitz, going after him, able to throw to Nance. Reception made, but all of that for a 2-yard loss. Now it's going to bring up a 3rd and long, but you can see the speed of Taylor coming out of that linebacker position going after Whipple.
And the age-old philosophy with defense is pressure busts pipes. And Taylor came shot out of a cannon right here, unblocked on a blitz. A miscue by the offensive line just throws the timing of this play completely off. No gain, 3rd down for the Bears.
They're going to try to let this run out and go to the second quarter. We have ended 1 quarter of play. When we come back, it will be a 3rd and 11, and the game that was moved to the larger venue, the historic Legion Field here in the Iron City of Birmingham. The Miles faithful are happy as their team has a 7-0 lead right here on Aspire.
Filmed on the campus.
Welcome back to Aspire's presentation of the SIAC Game of the Week. 7-0 is your score in favor of Miles. Destination Montgomery, every week counts. Only one winner will emerge as the Eastern Division champion meets Kentucky State, winner of the Western Division, in the SIAC Championship on Saturday, November 12th at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. Kickoff set for 6 p.m. Central. Almost another interception. First one could have been there for Tuskegee. Make sure you get the tickets for the SIAC Championship game at the SIACtickets.com. Remember, the SIAC, we play hard. And, Eric, it seems as though we may have a winner out of that Eastern Division that may surprise some of our viewers.
Yes. The winner of the Albany State-Fort Valley game would advance to the SIAC Conference Championship game to represent the East. And we've got an announcement. It's going to be Fort Valley State.
That is a shocker. And now Nick Christensen trying for his second field goal attempt, but there is a timeout called by Miles College. They're trying to make sure they get their alignment straight. Their first field goal attempt of 42 yards went awry wide left, and Christensen is going to try another opportunity to extend their 7-0 lead. The offense is yet to score. It was a long interception return by Cedric Poole early in the first quarter that opened the scoring in this evening's game. And you see Reginald Ruffin right there trying to talk to his special teamers. He needs to make sure that they keep their blocks, hold their blocks, because Tuskegee is a team that can get in there and get a block, and that could mean disaster for Miles.
And Nick Christensen has kicked a 54-yard field goal, so he has the leg. He actually did it about this same spot a year ago.
Low kick. And once again, no good. And the second time is not the charm for number 36.
And I think there was a partial block there, a tip ball, which caused that trajectory to go awry.
And, you know, when you're talking to kickers, sometimes you got to be harsh, but sometimes you just got to let them work it out themselves. And he's trying to work it out, too.
And that was a tough break for Miles. They could have improved and stretched that lead to 10. So now it's up to that defense to try to shut down Kevin Lacey. They've done a great job so far.
Lacey's numbers have not been all that negative. He's been able to move the ball up and down the field, but at crucial times made mistakes. Lacey getting some pressure. Will break the line of scrimmage, go to the sideline, but not before he was able to gain about 3 or 4 yards on that run.
That's what you want, positive plays to get yardage. You want to keep moving the chains, keep moving the sticks. 3 or 4 yards a carry. An old ball coach used to tell me, as long as you can average 3.4 yards a carry, you're going to move the football and continue to move the sticks.
Brings up a 2nd down and 7. And they're still going to keep 2 backs in the backfield. The specter of the run game is always something that is a possibility, and this time looks like player problem there as Jajarian Craig trips over his own feet and brings up a 3rd down situation.
And that's a tough break, as he's going to have a conversation with coach as to explain to what happened. And you don't want to be on the sidelines when the coach calls you over for coach talk.
Coach talk. All right. 3rd down, they need to get beyond the 35, really, let's say the 40, to make sure they have enough for the 1st down. Lacey. Quick throw and almost intercepted again, tipped twice by Miles College defenders, intended for Javarius Cheatham, and that one was incomplete, a punting situation for the Golden Tigers.
The familiarity of these two teams, they run almost the exact same offense and defensive schemes. It's like playing against your teammates in practice. So these guys know the tendencies of each other, and it's always interesting how it turns out.
Picaro, and back deep is Devin Brown for Miles College. Picaro to punt for the Golden Tigers. His second punting opportunity, this time a little bit better than the first. It will take a Tuskegee bounce, and it will be Cedric Poole that will take it from his own 26-yard line and able to get some positive yards before he is brought down at about the 37-yard line. Whenever you can hold it and move in a positive way, that is always positive. And you see Miss Miles College right there with her crown. When we come back, we will see if Miles can add on to their 7-0 lead right here on Aspire.
We are scholars.
We are science.
We are technology.
We are champions.
And you see the purple and gold fans as they move from their home stadium on the campus of Miles College onto the legendary Legion Field. A little bit more breathing room, elbow room. We saw a lot of fans out there tailgating. We'd like to thank the alumnus of Miles College. They gave us a wonderful greeting when we came here earlier today. And now after the punt, another drive by Miles, and you can see some pushing and shoving. There is no love lost between these two schools. Jamarcus Nance on the carry.
And you always talk about no love lost. These are two in-state rivals. It's like an Alabama-Auburn game. As a matter of fact, the Iron Bowl was played right here at this historic facility for many years.
Before, both of the larger institutions here in the state of Alabama increased their stadium size, but this time increasing their defensive intensity. Huge play there by the defender, number 22, Devontae Ramseur for Tuskegee, able to get a tackle behind the line on Nance.
It's third down and 35.
And you watch the audible of the play and tried to switch sides, and maybe number 53 for Miles College didn't get the audible on the offensive line as the defense just blew that play up.
Third down and 11. Whipple getting pressure. This time he is going to go down. A sack for the Golden Tigers. Once again, Ramseur right there for the big play for Tuskegee.
And that's what you call a coverage sack. Whipple takes the snap, nowhere to go with the football, and here comes the pass rush. And that defensive line would like to say kudos to the secondary.
Punting situation for Miles. Fair catch called. And catch is made. Once again, the defense for Tuskegee, just as advertised. They'll bend a little bit, but they won't break with 11:20 left to play in the first half. 7-0 is your score. And for the offensive line, heavy influence for Tuskegee from the state of Florida. They have young men from Miami, Pompano Beach, Miami Beach, and Jacksonville. They got one guy from California. So how does that help as far as continuity when you're recruiting a lot of your linemen from the same neck of the woods, so to speak?
It always works out well simply because of the fact that they are used to a certain system or a certain style of play. So you can bring those guys in and use that if you run that same style of play.
71, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And looks like that will push them back a little bit further. Leeward Brown, coming back from injury, was called for that infraction. Lacey with the handoff. First time we get a chance to see Kenny Gant young man from Tampa, Florida, transfer from Bethune-Cookman. And so far, his numbers, he's one of the up-and-coming running backs for the Golden Tigers.
And you talk about an NFL lineage. His father was a fan favorite with the Dallas Cowboys. His nickname used to be the Shark. He was also a fan favorite when he was traded to the Tampa Bay Bucks. He played under Tony Dungy there.
And now another generation of Gants playing this beautiful game. Throw and catch. And we do have a player down. Ladario Petway on the reception, and now he is down.
And Lacey, looking down the field, makes the completion, and it looks like we might have a pulled hamstring with Petway.
And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll give you the status on Petway. You're watching SIAC Football on Aspire.
These aren't actors, they're real people who got real savings at deal-com.
10:28 left to play in the first half. Miles College has a 7-0 lead. Ladario Petway was able to make it off the field. Looked like he has an injury to his hamstring, but he was able to walk off on his own power. Lacey off to throw, pitch and catch. Reception made, enough for a first down into Miles College territory, and they will move the chains. Reception made by Kendrick Moncrief.
And he's the tight end, a backup tight end for the Golden Tigers. Steps in, makes a reception, picks up the first down, and now you start to see that little bit of comfort with Lacey.
Lacey staying in the shotgun. Moving Reese in motion to the far side, and thought he was going to run, and on second thought he threw it and incomplete. Once again, that pressure from the purple and gold defense has been ravenous on the Golden Tigers this evening.
And I wanted to ask, and I always ask the teams, do you have a special nickname or special name for your offense or defense? And for the Miles College Bears, he said, we don't have a name. We just simply get the job done.
Get the job done.
And with that being said, Miles, 111 of its 225 points have been scored by the defense or special teams this season.
Timeout called by Tuskegee with 9:45 left to play in the half. A score would be something to make the fans feel a little bit better who are rooting for the Golden Tigers. Right now, they're holding their breath because they have been in games like this before in which Miles College has pulled off the upset. But if you're a Miles person, they have gone to expect this.
Well, if I'm a Miles person, I'm nervous because the last 5 years, the road team has won this game. So you've got to play this with bated breath, and you want to try to get some scores in.
And as you can see, they are still in their timeout. And we just want to remind our fans, remember, coming up at halftime, we will have the graduates. Stay tuned for the graduates. It is a wonderful program, and you can see Graduates NYC Saturdays during HBCU Live games, and at halftime, it will be on this network and also at aspire.tv. Interesting episode that will be coming up, dealing with a new book announcement and a number of other things dealing with the graduates. I like the show.
I do too. I can't wait to see it.
Watch eight. Watch number 8.
Pressure once again, trying to bring down the tall drink of water, and this time another sack that makes it 7 on the season, second of the day for number 58, Ashton McKenzie, for Miles.
And that defensive lineman came busting through there. We always say it, and I sound like a cliche, pressure, bust pipes, and that's exactly what happened. He came right up the gut, busted through that offensive line, making plays.
McKenzie, a senior from the Bronx, one of the few players who come from all the way of the metropolis along the eastern seaboard, and he has made a name for himself here at Miles College. And he is one of the young men, particularly in a city like New York, who can go back and help bring in more football players out of that great city.
And there's some confusion on the Tuskegee part.
Third down, and they need to get really down to about the 34-yard line for a first, the 34 of Miles. Nice throw and catch made. They get a lot of the yards back, but not enough. Reception made by Cheatham. Nice 6'4", 175-pound sophomore from Greenville, Alabama.
And watch Lacey. He eyes his receiver all the way down, finds the soft spot in the zone, puts it where only his guy can make the reception, getting the positive yards, getting down, getting what the defense gives you. And in football, that's what you want. Take what the defense gives you. Move the ball down the field, move the sticks. Even though it's fourth down, it should pin Miles College back deep.
Poole back deep for the Bears. And he will let it go out of bounds. And it will be called down at about the 13-yard line. Still a good punt for Tuskegee. And that's where the Golden Bear offense will take over. And when we come back, we'll see if the Miles College fan base can be up for an offensive score as you're watching SIAC football right here on the Spire. And take a look at the wonderful shot of the Golden Cubs, the future cheerleaders of Miles College. And you got to love those gold bows.
You know, everybody loves the kids.
It's the bows. The bows, it makes the whole complete outfit. First down and 10. Ball is inside the 20-yard line of Miles, and flag is thrown late. Nance on the carry, trying to string it out, and he was unable to gain any positive yards, and this one may be going back even further. Looks like the initial call will be a hold against Miles.
So that should be a no-brainer here. Take the penalty.
Holding, offense number 75. That penalty is declined. Second down.
And this is a dangerous situation if you're Miles. So far, Tuskegee's defense, when they apply pressure, has been able to get to David Whipple, the quarterback for Miles. If you're Golden Bear, you want to try to work your way out of this hole. And a timeout called by Miles, and they want to make sure that they get this play off correctly because they know they're deep in their own territory and could be an easy opportunity for Tuskegee to flip the field.
We talk about this rivalry. These teams, this is the 61st meeting between these two universities on the football field. Tuskegee leads the series 45-14. There's actually been one tie. And the last meeting between these two schools last year in Tuskegee, Alabama, Miles won 26-23 in a come-from-behind win. The home team has not won in this series since 2011. So that's something that they're going to have to, that Miles is going to try to correct today.
And in your estimation, Eric, what has Reginald Ruffin brought from Tuskegee to Miles that they did not have beyond the wins?
Easy answer. No quit. You fight from the opening whistle until the final horn and don't give up. When he first got here, his thing was he did not want to see a quitter.
Second down and long for the no-quit Golden Bears of Miles. This time to Nance. Nance has some room to run, and he's out to the races. 40, beyond midfield. He has one man to beat, and this time he's brought down inside Tuskegee territory. Huge first down play by Jamarcus Nance. The senior shows why even all the way up north in Muscle Shoals, they bring down some guys.
Muscle Shoals known for music, but Nance is making some sweet sounds with his feet as he cuts upfield, and he shows why he is the man for the Miles College Bears.
And that was possibly a touchdown-saving tackle made by Terrence Leatherwood, coming from a defensive lineman position to make that stop. And you see Nance going off on the sideline, a much-needed breather. He is getting close to 100 yards rushing after that long run.
I always like to see long runs. That tells me that the offensive line is getting to the second level and making plays. And when I say the second level, you're getting off those defensive linemen and getting on the linebackers and the guys in the secondary.
Whipple with time, has a receiver open, and he just slung it over his head, intended for Rodarius Houston, incomplete.
David Whipple had his receiver open. He found the soft spot in the corner route in that cover two. They had the correct play call, the correct route. The ball just sailed on him a little bit, and that's what we talked about with these two quarterbacks so far this season. They haven't really been that consistent.
Another third down situation. Getting some pressure, trying a bubble screen, and this time it was for naught. Good way to sniff out that bubble screen from the middle of that defensive line. Darian Hall right there to raise havoc, playing that defensive end position.
That hybrid linebacker defensive end sniffed it out, was sitting right there, almost had a pick six, and he was about to sing one of those songs, Celebrate Good Times.
And now it is another field goal opportunity for Nick Christensen. And this one is just short.
And that Tuskegee special teams did a great job in coming off the edge. I think Christensen was rushed in his kick, which caused it to be a little short. And that's something that Coach Slater prides himself on, is not only is he the head coach for Tuskegee, he's also the offensive coordinator calling the plays and the special teams coach.
With 6:09 left to play in the first half, Coach Slater may be a little bit relieved because they have subtracted 9 points off of the board by 3 missed field goals by Nick Christensen, and Slater wants to see his offense try to put at least 6 on the board as they trail 7-0, and Kevin Lacey and company have been able to move the ball up and down, but when it's time to get to the end zone, they have been unable to do so. Option play, Gainer. Spin move, able to get beyond the line of scrimmage, but not much more. 1, possibly 2 yards. Bring up a second down.
And that play didn't develop because Lacey didn't make the right read on the option. When he saw that they had decided to take the pitch man, all he had to do was cut up inside and take what the defense gives you. That's what the option is designed to do. If they're going to give you the quarterback takes it, get 3 or 4 yards. If they're going to take the quarterback, you get it out to the pitch man. And that's how the option goes. It's fairly simple, but it's effective.
Lacey, high throw, incomplete. Pass intended for Cheatham. He's trying to go to his tallest receiver, but it seems as though he's making him climb a ladder that he can't reach the highest heights of.
And here again, we talk about it. Lacey throwing a little high, so he didn't set his feet there. He rolled out, looked for his receiver, couldn't quite set his feet to make an accurate throw. When you see your receiver, you need to slow down, stop, set your feet so you can get the ball accurately to your receiver.
3rd and 9. Lacey. Flag is thrown, ball incomplete. Another flag is thrown. Looks like there's a number of issues going on along that line on the 3rd and 9.
And Coach Ruffin on the sidelines is upset about something. But he's saying decline the penalty. And he's trying to inspire that team as he is ready for this offense to get the ball.
Now his emotions went from upset to happy to upset in 20 seconds.
And that's how coaches do. You can never satisfy them until after the final horn sounds and you've got the W.
Vaccaro to punt. This time, this may be his best punt of the evening. Fair catch called. Poole on the catch, and it will be down at the 24-yard line, and that's where the Golden Bears will take over.
So now it's going to be interesting to see what the Miles College Bears have got in store with 5:04 remaining in the half. If they can get a score here, they can go up by 2 scores and possibly start salting this game away.
Whipple has 5 minutes and 4 seconds left, and actually with the play clock, he's down to less than 10 seconds, so getting a play will be important, but they need to try to get on the scoreboard offensively. Whipple throwing deep and throws incomplete. Pass intended for number 16, and that was incomplete.
So you got to hit that. You got to make that play.
Second down and 10. Nance on the inside, and now the game is sort of becoming predictable. Defense, stop, 3rd and long. Who knows what happens?
That happens because these two teams run almost the exact same scheme offensively and defensively. I said it earlier in the broadcast, and because these guys see it every day in practice, it kind of becomes second nature. You can see a certain formation and you can almost predict the play.
Whipple with time throws and incomplete. Pass intended for Devin Brown, but once again it sails high and over his head, which will bring up another punting situation. As you said, this is more like a chess match at the present time. Outside of the one huge mistake by Kevin Lacey with the 58-yard interception return by Cedric Poole for Miles, it has been mano-a-mano. Miles has had 3 opportunities to kick field goals. All 3 have gone awry, no good. So for Tuskegee, defensively, they've pitched a shutout.
This game's almost like a heavyweight championship fight.
Fair catch called, short punt, and it would be caught at the 45-yard line. Make it the 46, and that's where Coach Slater and Kevin Lacey's offense will take over. And for Lacey, 4 minutes and 3 seconds in the first half in order to try to make an impact on this game. Right now he's made an impact in a negative way, giving up that interception for a score. Incomplete. Once again, it seems as though the receiver and quarterback were not on the same page. Pass intended for Denzel Mooney.
And that's what you call an option route for receivers. Basically, when he gets ready to make his break, you want to get that defensive back to commit and either go inside or outside, and you make the break based on what he does. Lacey saw the defensive back break to the inside, so he threw the ball in the crease outside the hash. Ball falls incomplete. The receiver misread. He steps inside as well.
And once again, pitch and catch, trying to move the ball down the field in a positive way. Reception made by Desmond Reese. First time we've had an opportunity to call his name, but he is their all-everything receiver.
And Lacey finds Reese open out in the secondary, makes a move, but right there for the Golden Bears was Malik Slade to shut that play down, third
and you
down.
could see Coach Ruffin right there trying to coach him up immediately after he made the tackle. Third down and short. Ball is right at midfield. Lacey still trying to get calls in from the sideline. Pitch, catch made, enough for the first down. Move the chains. Cheatham on the reception.
And that was that option route again. They came back to it, but this time the defensive back stepped outside. They came back inside, makes the reception, first down for the Golden Tigers.
Seems as though they're finally starting to get some rhythm. 4 wide receiver set. Lacey gets out to his running back, Kenny Gant, and Gant shows hands of stone on that play.
Wow.
And he quickly goes to the sideline.
And that's what you hate, because you don't want coach speak when you get to the sideline.
And you don't want to drop a ball that close to the sideline because you know it's a quick trigger. Come over here, sit by me.
It's not only that, but they always say wait till Monday morning. And that 4 o'clock in the morning early out where you have to run.
Second down. And here he goes. Flag is thrown. May all come back, but a huge hit, but enough to get close to a first down by Lacey.
Let's go, baby, let's go! 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That was called on freshman Romaine. And all of that hard work by Kevin Lacey may come back. Now, they have some people who would say that Lacey may be a little too thin to play the quarterback position on the next level. There's had some talk specifically by NFL great Warren Moon, who says that they need to bring back the developmental league of professional football. And I think that would be a young man in Kevin Lacey that would be, it would be to his credit if they did bring that league, because his development is still going on as a quarterback. Lacey. High throw, in and out of the hands, but there is a flag at about the 36-yard line.
And I think we're going to get probably a defensive hold. But let's wait and see what this officiating crew is going to say.
Offense, number 41. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And right now it is Miles College who has had some self-inflicted wounds. Stevie Woods called for the flag, which moves Tuskegee closer to an opportunity to score. They have 2:13 left to play in the first half, and now they have a 1st and 10. With time, flag is thrown, tip ball, and ruled incomplete.
And I think we're going to get a hold on number 57, Kevin Shelton, for Tuskegee.
Holding, offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
You in the officials' huddle on that one. You must have got the call.
I saw it a mile away. Being a former defensive guy, a defensive lineman, I know a hold and an almost takedown when I see it.
So you're saying they were trying to bring back a wrestling move, a wrestling move?
WWE style, if I may say that.
Wrestling. Not wrestling, wrestling. This is Mid-South Championship wrestling country out here. First down in forever. And this has been sort of like a wrestling grudge match. 7-0 you score, incomplete. Once again, pass intended for Moncrief. 2 minutes left to play in the first half.
And Moncrief, the ball hit him in a bad spot, his hands. He should have come down with that reception. But it's tough. It's a tough break for the Golden Tigers now, as it is now second down and about 20.
Running out of time on the play clock, less than 5 seconds. Got to hurry up and get it off in time. They do. Lacey throwing a bullet, and once again, high, intended for Reese. Looks like, once again, quarterback and receiver not on the same page, and it could have been disastrous again because the defensive backs for Miles were right there able to try to make a play.
And Cedric Poole, that man again, has shown up big. This defense has scored 7 times this season for the Golden Bears, and that almost was number 8.
When you hear that 7 times, especially in a scouting report, that means you have to be sure of your decisions because they're going to be there when you make a mistake with the football. Third down and forever, they need to get inside the 30-yard line for a first. Moving around the pocket, Lacey finds a receiver, able to break one tackle, but brought down exactly at the 30, short of the first down is Desmond Reese.
And they caught the defense this time in a defensive shift. They originally showed a cover 3, and Lacey recognized they changed to a cover 2. As he steps up, he sees the receiver come clear, lays it across in a crossing route. Outstanding pitch and catch, but still not enough for a first down.
1 minute, 20 seconds left to play in the half. Miles taking on Tuskegee. What for the last 6 years has been one of the most intense rivalries in the SIAC. Both teams defeated by Kentucky State, and due to SIAC rules, only your divisional record will count towards the championship game, and that meant that Kentucky State won the Western Division, and the Eastern Division today won by Fort Valley. So 2 new teams getting an opportunity. Fort Valley has not made it to the championship game in about 5 years. And for Kentucky State, their first ever opportunity to make it to the SIAC championship game that you can watch right here next week starting at 6 p.m.
And we see the Tuskegee players and coaches huddle still on the sideline. And a key thing that a lot of people don't know right now is that Tuskegee has not lost, this football team has not lost on the road since their loss last season in the playoffs to West Georgia.
They're going for it on 4th down. Lacey with time, trying to throw long, and they may call it, and yes, they do. Flag is thrown. Pass intended for Cheatham, and it looks like Andreas Warthen just quietly brought him down.
They caught the Miles Golden Bears in man coverage across the board, and if you can get off of that man coverage, you have one thing.
Pass interference, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty from previous spot, automatic first down.
And Lacey steps up, sees he's got man coverage, and you had nothing to do. You were beaten, and they tell you as a defensive back, if you're beaten, just go ahead and commit the infraction. You don't give up the touchdown.
And instead of Miles College getting the ball back to put this game on ice for the first half, now their defense has to bear down, so to speak, and try to hold on, because now it's 1st and 10 with 1:13 left to play, and Tuskegee knocking on the door. Give to Gaynor. Gaynor is knocked down immediately at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
No gain for Gaynor.
Second down and 10, 52 seconds and counting. Lacey with time, throwing a bullet into the end zone. Touchdown, Tuskegee. Desmond Reese on the reception. The Golden Tigers get on the scoreboard.
We haven't mentioned his name a whole lot today. As Lacey drops back, he eyes Reese the whole time. No safety in the middle of the field, so no help. As Poole was playing behind him, you just easy pitch and catch. Reese says, I'm not the player, I just score a lot.
And his 7th touchdown of the season, his 33rd reception of the year. And point after attempt goes awry, and Miles College, through it all, still has a 1-point lead.
And a tough break, as I can imagine how upset Coach Slater is, as he's also the special teams coach, and he hates to see his special teams cost him points. And we watch the replay again. Lacey spots Reese wide open in the end zone. The safety, Poole, playing behind him. Easy pitch and catch. I think I might have been able to catch that ball.
And I know that's one that Poole wants to get back. He is the defensive leader for the Bears. And to fail on that play, that's something that may stick in his craw for a little while going into halftime.
Well, I really fault Reese on that one, because when Lacey stepped up, the linebacker that should have been a little deeper, he came up to respect Lacey's running ability, and that opened up that passing window.
All right, back deep for Miles, Brown, and Poole. Hall will do the kickoff duties. Vicario is the punter. And this will be a low line drive kick, and Poole will take it at his own 5. Gets out to the 20, finds a hole out to the 30, sidesteps, has some room, and is pushed out of bounds. Good return with 23 seconds left to play in the half for Cedric Poole.
And I love that return by Poole. He did what we call a jump cut on the return. And I love to see that kind of movement, especially by a defensive back. I only see that from running backs and wide receivers, and now I'm seeing it from Poole as a defensive back. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Well, he has to build that resume. There are hundreds, thousands of players playing that position who want that opportunity at the next level, and he has to make himself stand out when those professional scouts come out and take a look-see, as they say. All right, so now in the victory formation, or as you say, the safety formation, and it will be Whipple who will kneel it as the clock will run down. That should be the last play. It will be the last play of the first half. And Miles College defense has scored the only touchdown for the Golden Bears. And for Tuskegee, with the help of a Miles College defensive penalty, they were able to keep a drive alive and get into the end zone. So 1 point after attempt divides us, but Miles College has the 1 point lead. The showdown at sundown right here at Legion Field on Aspire.
I choose Tuskegee University?
For its legacy of leadership and service, for historical significance and rigorous training in architecture, and also for its phenomenal tennis program.
I chose Tuskegee for its rich history, grounding principles, and ultimately the resourcefulness I would gain in life.
If you are seeking an intellectually stimulating environment that will provide the academic support you need to be outstanding in your chosen field, then look no further. Tuskegee University is a place for you.
What if this performance-enhancing veggie was transformed into a great tasting...
The great episode of the Graduates NYC. Halftime, 7-6 in favor of the Golden Bears of Miles. When we come back, we'll have more halftime right here on Aspire. And welcome back to Legion Field. You see the Miles College Marching Band as their football team has a 1-point lead over the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. We'll have more halftime right after this. You're watching SIAC Football on Aspire. And as you can see, the Golden Bears are trying to get themselves warmed up, and now they have the task of expanding or holding on to that 1-point lead. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. Wonderful halftime. Great to talk to the mayor of the city of Birmingham. They're trying to make a long-term commitment to try to keep this game in the city, and it seemed as though the players on the field are living up to the hype. The mayor and the city of Birmingham is living up to the hype, but the key is now, will the fans get what they came out for, and that is a great ending to a wonderful rivalry game.
And that's what's going to happen. These two teams, it's always come down to 4 quarters. Anytime you play a Coach Ruffin or Reginald Ruffin team, you know they're going to go at it until that final horn. So look for no quit in this Miles College team. Look for no quit in this Tuskegee team. I'm excited for the second half, and this is going to be 30 minutes that I might need to go ahead and get my Imodium AD ready.
Imodium AD?
Yes, sir.
You can't get sick up here.
It's going to be one of those games.
That's not allowed.
It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be
look. If your stomach is going to give you problems, let me know now. I can call the commissioner. We'll tap out, get relief, but no Imodium AD.
Well, I can't get sick because I've got to have some of that barbecue.
No. And see, you're still talking about eating after you say you're going to get sick? All right. Now, as you can see, the Miles College players, they know what's at hand here. They're trying to end their SIAC season on a high note. Now, for both teams, they were defeated by Kentucky State due to the rules of the SIAC. Only divisional games count toward your eligibility for the SIAC championship game. From the Eastern Division, it will be Fort Valley, who upended Albany State in their rivalry game played in Columbus earlier today, and Kentucky State won the Western Division by defeating both Tuskegee and Miles, and they will make their first trip to Montgomery. Game will be played right here on Aspire next Saturday at 6 p.m. And you see even the youngest of the Miles College faithful right there trying to root on their team to glory. Now it will be Miles College who will be kicking off to Tuskegee. Tuskegee did score but missed a point after attempt. That's where we lie at 7-6. No Imodium AD. Keep that stomach straight. Drink water. Water helps. All right, here we go. Tuskegee taking it at its own 1-yard line. Trying to find some room to run, and they do, but brought down at about the 26-yard line, and that's where the Golden Tigers will take over. Now, if you're Tuskegee and you're Coach Slater, what do you think you told your team at halftime?
We've got to stick with the program. We've got to get some consistency on offense. Defense is showing you why they are the #1 rated team in Division II football. Offensively, they've had some missteps. You threw a pick-6 touchdown, which resulted in Miles' only score. This is like a heavyweight title fight. Who is going to fall to the mat? Who's going to get up?
See, everybody says heavyweight, but that's a lightweight there at Lacey. 6'6", 175, but now he does give it to his heavyweight. Big running back, big, huge running play enough for the first down and more. Jerome Lewis, the young man who is greater from Decatur, Georgia, his 35th carry of the year, and what a carry it was.
And this is a play you always want to feed your fullback once in a while. When you line up in that I formation, he's primarily a blocking back, but this time they feed the beast, and look what it gets you. Big yardage and a first down.
Well, they did start off their first series with some huge runs by Gaynor, but then it ended in an interception return for a touchdown by Cedric Poole. Keeper, Lacey. And this time he slips and pays the price by Cedric Poole making the tackle.
Poole comes down from his safety position and lit Lacey up like Juice Newton's penthouse.
Newton penthouse. Okay, go ahead.
Watch the replay as Lacey's going to come around the end as he faked it. He tries to get down, and what a shot by Cedric Poole.
Second down. Lacey trying to run the option, gives out to Gaynor. Gaynor trying to go on the outside, finds it, slips one tackle and pushed out of bounds, but not before he gets the first down or somewhere close. And you can see that Brandon Gaynor is hyped up for this one, and he's trying to make that big push in the second half.
And this play was set up because Lacey, reading the option, they decide this time that they're going to force him to pitch the ball. That's what he does. And this is what the option is designed to do. Take what the defense gives him.
Third down and 1. Give to their fullback, Lewis, and Lewis is the guy known to get those tough yards, and he gets that extra one that pushes them forward to move the chains.
As a former defensive lineman, that was what I always look forward to as a defensive end on those dive plays. Sometimes your responsibility was to take that fullback, and that was what I used to try to live for. I wanted to smash that fullback right, catch him right underneath the chin.
Did you do that often?
The worst game I ever had was when we played Nebraska.
And who you were trying to hit under the chin?
I got knocked out by a receiver in that game.
Lacey throwing deep. Incomplete. Reese, the intended receiver, and Duncan right there. And it looked like Reese had to play defensive back because that pass looked like it was going into Duncan's arms.
And Reese, and Coach Slater this week when I talked with him, he sung tremendous praises on Reese. He wished he had another year to just stay in his program, and he said he could see great things next year.
Time's running out on the play clock, has to get it off quick, gives to his fullback once again, has some room to run. Positive yards again by fullback Jerome Lewis, and this time enough to move the chains again. It seemed as though whenever they give it to Lewis, he uses those quick, stubby feet in order to get positive yards.
But this play was set up by number 6, Brandon Gaynor. You missed him in this shot, but right on the outside, left side of your screen, he jammed and just blew up. He blew up this play and opened it up for this first down.
Slip by Gaynor. He eludes one tackle. Second tackle, tries to backtrack, and that is to his own demise. A sea of purple jerseys keeps him on the backside of the line of scrimmage.
And you reward a player when he unselfishly makes a low block. Gaynor gets the ball this time, but nowhere to go. Tough play for the Golden Tigers.
Lacey with time. Plenty of time. Now getting some pressure. And tries to sidestep a defender, but is brought down from behind, but gets back to, it looks like he may have lost 1 yard on the play. Brings up 3rd down and 11.
Kevin Lacey tried to make a play, but right there was Anthony Hardy to shut it down and create a 3rd down and long. And we saw a 3rd down and 20 play in Coach Slater's playbook earlier tonight featuring Kevin Lacey. Do we possibly see that play again?
Play clock will be kept on the field.
And it looks like there are some play clock issues, so the play clock will be kept on the field for the remainder of the game. Now that could be a bad situation, because now you've got to be mindful of the referees, because they will be using hand signals to let you know how much time is left on the play clock. Third down and 10. Lacey trying to screen, gets it out to Lewis. Lewis gets enough for the first down, barrels his way closer, trucks a defender, and gets inside the 10, down to about the 6. Jerome Lewis showing that second half surge.
And watch here, the timing was disrupted because he couldn't get a clean snap. And look out, because you were standing on the tracks and the train was coming through.
Train connected. First and goal for Tuskegee. They have come out on fire using the ground game to move themselves into a scoring situation. Pitch out to Gaynor. Gaynor eludes one tackle, a second one reaches for the goal, and he is out of bounds at about the 1 yard line, just short.
And you know what, that going back to that previous play, as a defensive guy, when you love, I don't care if anybody, I love seeing big hits like that. And right here, watch again, Brandon Gaynor stumbles, tries to stretch it out, almost gets, and he lost the football.
He lost the football.
And
he lost the football.
Stayed in bounds.
He lost the football. No replay in Division II except in the playoffs and championship game. Timeout called. And now definitely coach is trying to plead his case. He's like, look at the Jumbotron, look at Aspire TV.
And there's nothing really the officials can do. But Coach Ruffin wants an explanation. How could you miss that? But it was a bang-bang play. And real time, it would be hard to make that call.
Well, smart move by Coach Ruffin that gave him a little extra time to get his players, as far as allowing his coaches to talk to his players.
Miles Collins, Edward Chargers team timeout.
The tough thing about that really is, and Coach Ruffin teaches his defense, don't stop until you hear the whistle blow. And that ball set on the ground. I don't know if I heard a whistle blow, which is uncharacteristic of a Ruffin-coached team.
Second and goal from the 1. Fumble on the play, flag is thrown. Miles is saying that they recovered it, but there is a flag. False start against Tuskegee. They'll push him back 5, and they will replay second down.
And a tough break for the Miles Bears as they had this opportunity to recover a possible fumble, and that could have been a game changer. Lacey coming back after getting direction from Coach Slater, who not only is the head coach, but is also the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
Second down, ball at the 6. Option. Lacey hit at the line. Ball is loose, recovered by Miles. Another bad play by Kevin Lacey, and he pays the price with the Golden Bears with the fumble recovery.
That's what you call a slobber knocker. Lacey tries to cut it up and is met. He got lit up this time like a Snoop Dogg cigarette.
I don't think Snoop smoked cigarettes, those other things. But Caleb Duncan is with the fumble recovery. Caleb Duncan has been Johnny on the spot along with Cedric Poole, those defensive backs, and you seem as though he paid the price also, and they're trying to work some cramps out on him on the sideline. But once again, the defensive backfield for Miles has stepped up big, and now David Whipple will be working at his own 6-yard line. Nice, safe running play by Ja'Carry Jackson, sophomore out of Montgomery.
And right now, Miles is trying to play it safe, eat some clock, but just move the chains. I always say when I do a broadcast or if I'm watching a football game, the 2 most important drives in a contest are the first 2 drives to start the second half.
Jackson. Positive yards again, meant for a wall of white jerseys, but he was able to gain about 2 yards to bring up a 3rd and 6.
This time, the offensive line of Miles did not get off on the second level. The linebackers were allowed to flow freely, shutting that play down after about a 3 to 4 yard gain.
Kelly in motion. Gives to Jackson, enough for the first down. That little misdirection gives Ja'Carry Jackson enough to find a hole in order to get positive yardage.
And watch Whipple give Jackson the handoff. Great job by the offensive line. They walled off the entire front of that Tuskegee defensive unit. Positive yards, first down and 10. Now you've got the ball in pretty decent field position.
Ball now out at the 20. This, if it continues, will be the longest drive of the game for Miles. Once again, Ja'Carry Jackson on the carry and continues to get positive yards. This young man, check that new running back in. And that's Jonathan Esther, sophomore out of Thomasville, Georgia. And he is one of the Stillman transfers. Remember, Stillman ended their football program, and then a lot of those guys ended up at Miles, some at some other institutions, but another added person to the arsenal for Miles. Nice pitch and catch, trying to reverse field, and does. Positive yards there by William Kelly, able to get another first down to move the chains again.
And Darian Hill makes the stop. He read the play, he trailed it, closed it off. Watch Whipple makes the completion. Darian Hill trailing right here, comes up. Stop it, don't go anywhere, I got you.
Keeping it, Whipple, and this time almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Khalil Gray. And I know Gray wanted to have that one. He couldn't believe it was right there in the breadbasket.
Gray has it right there, but it hit him in a bad place. The coaches teach you it hits him right in the chest plate. They call that a bad place. If you look a ball in and it goes to your chest, you're not going to catch it. They teach you catch it with your hands, young man.
I think that one was moving so fast he could not catch it, could not bring his eyes focused on it because he jumped up and it hit him right in the chest. He was looking to tip it, and then it went to his chest. And remember, maybe about 3 minutes ago, the officials said they will keep the play clock on the field. There were some play clock issues, so all the players are trying to make sure that they keep an eye on the referees. Whipple with a nice whip pass, catch made. Do they call it a reception? Yes, they do. Catch made by Trey Smith, and he was able to climb the ladder and make that reception, move the chains closer. Now they're at midfield, first down for the Golden Bears.
And right there, Eugene Leach coming over. They caught him again in a cover two. Eugene Leach comes over and lays the wood, but he holds on to the football for the reception. You're going to have a motion penalty right here.
And it's going to be called on the center, number 75, Chris Ruffin, no relation to head coach Reginald Ruffin. And he even knows, he said, that's on me. Now, how do you get a false start when you're the center and you don't hike the ball?
What normally happens, you can't move the ball. He might have rocked the ball with the intent, and the officials, once you get set, you can't move that football until you snap it.
Give to Jackson, and Jackson is met immediately at the line of scrimmage. And after that loss of 5, he may have lost a half a yard to make it a loss of 6.
Taylor stepping up and making the play just turned into a stone wall, if I might use that pun, and stops the Miles College team for a loss.
And once again, movement along the line. Looks like that one was Roger Womack.
75. 5-yard penalty. Still take it out.
Oh, now they say number 75, but it couldn't have been 75. That was the center, Chris Ruffin, so I think it was 79. So now it's second and forever. They need to get inside the Tuskegee 40-yard line for a first. 4:40 and counting. If you see the play clock on your screen, they are keeping the play clock on the field. There's some play clock issues. Now, Whipple getting some pressure. Eludes one defender, finds a receiver, able to get some positive yards. Devin Brown able to get those positive plays. Check that was Jonathan Clark from his running back position, the redshirt senior out of Birmingham.
And watch Whipple drop back, surveying the field all day to throw the football, finally get some pressure, gets it to his check down receiver. Great block downfield to spring him for some yak. I like to call it yak, or yards after the catch.
Less than 4 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Whipple whips it out, and would they call it a reception or would they call it an incompletion?
It's got to be a catch.
And that was Malik Campbell on the reception, the young man out of Blunt High School in Mobile. 1-2 steps, yes. That should be a reception.
And they're going to go for it on fourth down.
Fourth down, going for it. Running play and nothing doing. A defender loses his helmet, but Whipple unable to convert. The white shirts of the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee holds strong, and they will turn it over on down. When we come back, a dejected Miles College offense will hand it off to their defense to see if they can hold on to this 1-point lead right here on Aspire. Third quarter action, and it's 7-6 in favor of Miles. They moved their home game from their home site, the Legion Field, to take on the enormous amount of fans who wanted to come see this game. I'm joined by George French, the president of Miles College. Thanks for joining us.
Always good to see you.
Now, first of all, let's get with the intelligence aspect of your university.
Yes.
You had some high, as they say in Alabama, highfalutin people that came down to talk at your university.
Last month we had CIA Director John Brennan to come to be the speaker for our National Security Colloquium. We're the only center of academic excellence in the state of Alabama. So to get CIA Director Brennan here was huge. But then to turn around on yesterday and have his boss, James Clapper, who is the Director of National Intelligence, come to speak to my students, phenomenal.
Now, how can that turn into just a conversation to eventually jobs for Golden Bear alums?
And it already has. We have people working in the intelligence community who have graduated, gone straight into CIA, DIA, and several other agencies in both overt and covert operations. So we already have people going into those agencies for careers. And then we have grants that we are getting as a result of our intelligence community. Very proud of what's going on at Miles.
Now let's talk about what happened at halftime. You had a $50 donation to the university.
50,000.
50,000. See, I got to get it right. 50,000.
Yes.
When you first got there, how much was the largest donation you had, and now how has that progressed?
Well, we raised actually over $100 million. I've been president for 11 years now. We raised over $100 million. We built 3 buildings simultaneously. But you're correct. You're correct. When we look at our alumni giving, it has increased exponentially. We were down at about 6%. Now we're more like 18% in giving, and that's just a start. Our corporate giving is way up. Of course, Coca-Cola gave us $50,000. They weren't giving us anything when I became president. So that's up exponentially. So we're excited about what's going on at Miles College.
Now, Mr. French.
Yes.
Speaking English, what's the secret to your sauce?
Favor. Let's say I will flip it on you. But it really is. I love people. I love my students. They love me. We have a great relationship. As a matter of fact, at halftime, I was proud. I was looking at the band, and they spelled out French and said, "We love you, President French." Blew my mind. I love my students. It's a great place. And when people know that you love them, they're willing to give and invest in you. That's the bottom line.
So with the money coming in, buildings going up, what is the future for the university?
Miles University is what we are working on now, going from college status to university status, which means that we'll have autonomous colleges within the university. So we're very excited. The students are excited, and the community is responding with enormous gifts.
How much is it to get from the college status to the university level?
We basically are going to start master's programs in education, business. Those will be the 2 primary, and then social work. So basically we're talking about a couple $1 million investment, but we're well capitalized already, and we're ready to go, to be honest with you.
All right. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Always.
And keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
The good work
and
the positive work at Miles.
Thank you.
And eventually we'll be saying Miles University.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Yes,
We're joined by the captain of the ship. Well, we would call him the admiral right now. And we are winding down the third quarter. 7-6 is your score. 10 seconds and counting, and Miles is trying to hold on as they're going up against their intense in-state rival Tuskegee here at legendary Legion Field. And we have ended the third quarter, 1 more quarter to go, and you can see the fans are intently waiting for that final quarter and the 5th quarter as the bands will compete after the game. But right now, it's all football that they're talking right here on Aspire. And the cheerleaders for Miles College as we're getting ready to start the 4th quarter of action. No change from our halftime score of 7-6. Got close, and it was Tuskegee's fumble. Miles College recovery that has kept the score 7-6. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. We have had the opportunity to talk to the Honorable Mayor of Birmingham, William Bell, and also the president of Miles College, George French. We thank them all for joining us here on Aspire, but now it's time for football. Gaynor on the carry, able to get some positive yards closer to the red zone inside the 30-yard line to move the chains for a first down.
And you always look for Gaynor when he's coming outside to just get up the field. You know, I like to see the wide stuff, but at some point you've got to turn it up and get what you can get. And that means running over somebody. You know, I'm from the old school. I like to see contact.
And now they're going to have the official warning to have the bands to stop play, or they will penalize Miles College.
Well, the opponent is over the ball. That is the first and final warning. The next will result in an unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
And for band members, they enjoy that level of civil disobedience because that means that they were loud enough to disrupt the play of the opposing team. And that's what bands are for. You want to entertain the crowd, but you also want to be that 12th man, so to speak, for your team. And incomplete pass intended. No, they blew the whistle. And you think live ball, I think incomplete.
I was thinking it's a lateral.
Okay, let's go. Let's see where it goes. I think I'm playing Price is Right, but you never really not going to be able to do that one today. So Kevin Lacey has been able to drive his team. When you look at yardage for the game, it will be rather impressive. But when you see the amount of points scored, you'll say, well, what happened? Well, what has happened is key mistakes by the signal caller in the red zone or close to it that has resulted in ending of drives, or for Miles, their only touchdown of the game, a 58-yard interception return by Cedric Poole. Lacey. Spin move to get out, has some room to run, trying to find a receiver, and he throws it out of bounds. He was out of the pocket.
I don't think he got it back to the line of scrimmage.
They're going to see what it was. Yes, they will call an incomplete pass.
Quarterback was out of the pocket and had a player in the area. Third down.
A break for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers, but the band, back in 2009 in the Pioneer Bowl, the Miles College band on one drive was penalized 45 yards in unsportsmanlike conduct, which resulted in a field goal for Johnson C. Smith.
Well, you know what that means? That means that the band was stubborn. They were very stubborn. Now, some people would say, oh, the band should not play. Well, within HBCUs, the band is the thread that winds this game together. Without the bands, you may not have as many fans here in the stands. They want to hear some of the best music. Interception again by Miles. And once again, the defense of the Golden Bears stop a scoring opportunity by the Golden Tigers. Ravarius Rivers on the interception. Lacey looking for points and once again finds nothing but heartache. You're watching SIAC Football on Aspire.
On Aspire and Aspire.tv.
Reginald Ruffin trying to move his team closer to a victory. They have a 7-6 lead. Second interception of the evening on Kevin Lacey. Lacey is responsible for all three of the Golden Tiger turnovers, and now David Whipple trying to preserve this game and give it to his running backs to try to put this game on ice. Now, you may say it's too early to say that with 13:48, but the offense has not had a lot of opportunities in the second half with the football. It's been all Tuskegee.
I'm enjoying this game. It's playing out exactly as advertised. It's going to come down to possibly the last possession of the game, just as it did last year. And David Whipple is trying to get that whip appeal going right now.
Babyface will charge you for that. I'm just letting you know. 4 wide receivers at the disposal of Whipple. He does find one in Ernest Bell Jr., and he is brought down. Give credit to the Tuskegee defense. If this game does not go in their favor, they would have pitched a shutout. And they've done it with strong defense.
And what happened on the replay, the receiver ran an option route, and this time the safeties bailed on the coverage, which created that slant route.
Third down. Throw it over the defender. Great one-handed catch. And he's off to the races into Tuskegee territory. Great open field catch. One-handed by Devin Brown. He came out of nowhere and made a huge play for the Golden Bears.
Devin Brown stabbed that football out of the air like a falcon on a finch. Watch, one-handed. I'm speechless. I'm excited. You love to see great plays like this.
Brown has come to get this crowd up, and once again, another strong running play. Devin Brown, he can play a little bit of everything. Check that. That was Jonathan Clark on the carry, 9 and 8. You see how sometimes it squeezes together there.
And they need to have a sense of urgency. As you're saying, they're picking up the pace right now. They see something in that Tuskegee defense, so they're trying to keep that Tuskegee package, that personnel unit on the field.
Give to Clark. Good bounce off of one defender. Gets inside the 20, down to about the 19.
And on that play, you heard the thunder crash.
And we do have a player down for Tuskegee. And he is moving. And we will go to a break, and when we come back, we'll check on the status of the player down for Tuskegee. 7-6 is your score. 11:07 left to play in the fourth.
Hi, it's guaranteed, or you're going to get your money back. You'll love it.
I immediately felt like I was 10 years younger.
Within
11:07 left to play in this rivalry game. The showdown at sundown at night has fallen here in the Iron City of Birmingham, Alabama. 7-6 is your score, and Miles is knocking on the door. Ball at the 20 on second down. Whipple breaks the line of scrimmage and does not get much more. Tripped up at the line, but able to gain 1 or 2 yards. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor, 10:53 and counting. You see the play clock is not moving. Reason being, they've had some malfunction, so the officials are keeping the play clock on the field. But what we have seen so far in front of an impressive crowd for a Division II or any game period, 19,368, and that's about 12,000 more than what they can hold at Miles College. So great move by them to move this game to Legion Field. I think that's a success.
Outstanding numbers. You know, when these two teams get together, it's going to be a jam-packed house, standing room only, and it's only proper to move it to a historic venue such as the Gray Lady here in Birmingham, Alabama.
And for all of you alumni of Miles and Tuskegee, when you go to your offices on Monday, remember that number, 19,368. 9 out of 10 times that will be Jacksonville State's attendance, South Alabama's attendance, Troy's attendance, North Alabama's attendance. You know, now granted, it may not hit the cathedrals of football as Auburn and Alabama, but within, when you think about it combined, these two schools may have less than 10,000 students, and to have 19,000 people show up when this game was moved about 3 or 4 weeks ago, That's impressive, not only for the two institutions, but for the city of Birmingham to bring all of this together.
And these two teams have an outstanding fan base. I enjoy the Tuskegee alum and the Tuskegee faithful. They will keep you in line if you say anything to the negative about
I was
Golden
actually
Tigers.
in a store today, and I saw a guy with Tuskegee hat on. I said, what are they going to do today? He said, they better win. Two of my brothers are going, and I'm going to watch the game on Inspire. We thank him for watching, and all of you who are watching, as you see David Whipple trying to get some of those yardage back on third down and forever. He's able to get about 10, maybe 11, to bring up a fourth and long.
And Whipple sees nothing open. He takes off downfield. He lowers his shoulder, and he brings the thunder. As a quarterback, for you to lower your shoulder and bring the thunder, that motivates your offensive line. That motivates your entire team.
Now, it was a holding call. He was at least 11 yards short of the first. They want to accept the call, Coach Willie Slater. Is that a smart move in order to take the penalty and move them back further?
What he's trying to do is get them out of a possible field goal situation, in which might make this a touchdown scoring game to win. Right now, a field goal will win it for Tuskegee. So he's trying to play this chess match.
Now, I'm going to say something that's out of order for some people. I don't like that. I would have said decline the penalty, let them kick it. They're 0 for 3 kicking field goals, but they do have threats in the wideout position and the running back position that could possibly, and as you can see Whipple, he's going to get his towel. They're going to give him some time to go get his towel. He's got to get his towel. Okay. So I'm thinking if I'm Tuskegee's defense, I decline that penalty. Now that may be not the prudent football move, but when you've got a kicker that's 0-3, I want to give him every opportunity to be 0-4. Third and forever. Whipple. With time, he gets hit on the play high, and the ball goes around, and all of a sudden there is a flag that comes out of nowhere.
And it looks like it's going to be a pass interference call on the Tigers after what appeared to be a great defensive play. Whipple was under heavy duress and forced it. They tell you not to force a ball in that situation, but he did. But he had two receivers in the area, almost a huge play.
Eric, you're just trying to avoid. What did I say? They should have just said fourth down and let him kick it. They should have let him kick it.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
So now what's happened? You just gave Miles a whole new life. And now you see the Tuskegee faithful, they're upset.
And that's one crew you don't want to get upset.
You don't want to get the Golden Tiger fan base upset?
No, you don't.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if I've got a kicker that he can't find the goalpost, let him kick it. But now he's got new life. 1st and 10, ball now at the 30-yard line. New life for the Bears. And a handoff. They tried to elude one tackle and the other. Devin Brown, once again, check that. That's Jonathan Clark. You see that 9 and 8. See, that looks so bad, but that is Jonathan Clark on the carry.
That's those new numbers they put on the uniforms. It's hard to read sometimes.
You just got to pull his jersey down. Just pull it down just a little, just a tad. 2nd down and 8. Pump fake. Finds a receiver. Kelly inside the 5, down to the 3.
And Kelly dragging defenders as he's going down the field. And you know what? When we used to play football and you had a receiver that did that to a defender, you get up and tell that defender, hey, that's 50 cents for the ride.
50 cents for the ride, and you got to thank Coach Slater. And he says he takes a bow. He takes a bow. Well, congratulations, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, he made another
1st
50
and
cents.
goal. Miles offense trying to get on the board for the first time this game, and Whipple goes nowhere fast. He's getting a big push on 1st and goal, ball at the 3. He may have gotten 1, possibly 2, to bring up 2nd down and goal, ball at the 2-yard line.
And this time the offensive line didn't get much of a surge or a push. This is the time where you challenge each of your offensive linemen. Be a playmaker. Be a game changer. We're trying to put this game on ice, so to speak.
7:49 left to play, and for those at home who are looking at the play clock, it's not moving. It's because they're keeping the play clock on the field because the clock has malfunctioned. Whipple once again on the carry. He is upended and stopped. May have gained a half a yard down to the 1, makes it a 3rd and goal at the 1. This white shirt Golden Tiger defense is standing strong, but can they do it for 2 more plays?
That's going to be a big one. This play was led by Osborne Thompson, who stepped in there and made a shoestring tackle, saving a possible touchdown. And this would change the whole complexion of this game, making it a 2-score contest.
Ball at the 1. Whipple on the keeper, has room, touchdown, fair.
You're going to get a hold.
But there is a flag at the 2. There is a flag at the 2. High drama for a crowd of 19,368.
For 58, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
That holding penalty called on Theon Victorin.
And that's a tough break for the Miles College Bears, as it looked like they were about to go ahead and generate a 2-score lead, which meant Tuskegee would have to score at least a field goal and a touchdown to win this ball game. And now with 6:48 remaining in the contest, time is not going to be on Tuskegee's side if that happens.
And the majority of this 19,368 crowd is still here because this game is still in the balance. 7-6 is your score. 6:48 left to play. Flag, pressure, sacked by the Golden Tigers, but let's see what the official call is.
You're probably going to get an offsides on Osborne Thompson. He jumped. He had an early jump on the play. And it looked like he came across the line before the ball was snapped.
Illegal motion, offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Now they're a decline.
It's now 4th down, and on comes the field goal unit. And let's see if Nick Scott can bang one through here, because this will be a 40-yard field goal attempt for the Bears.
Nick Christensen is 0 for 3. This is 4th and 23. Ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line. Kick is up. And for the first time in the game, Nick Christensen has kicked a field goal that is good. If at first you don't succeed, try, and on the 4th time, you make it.
And it was on the hash, and it's one of the most difficult field goals he would have had to kick because he had to angle it. He does exactly what he needs to do. It's good, but
when we come back, we'll see if Tuskegee can match. They have some work cut out for them as they trail by 4, 10-6 right here on Aspire. A field goal by Nick Christensen has propelled Miles to a 10-6 lead. The first offensive points of the night for the Golden Bears come at the foot of Nick Christensen, who missed 3 previous field goals. His teammates, his coaches, gave him positive reinforcement, and it turned in his favor as he had another opportunity and cashed in with a field goal. Now, with the sky kick, it will be Tuskegee taking it at their own 25 and brought down at the 34-yard line with 6:21 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Play clock is not working. They will work it on the field. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. We have had a wonderful afternoon and evening of football. The showdown at sundown here at historic Legion Field. 19,368 fans who have come out, and we will have a quarterback change. It appears that Jamarcus Ezell, the young freshman, 6 foot, 185 pounds, who has had some opportunities to play so far this season. He's thrown 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. He will come in now to spell Kevin Lacey, who has thrown 2 interceptions, responsible for 3 turnovers, and given up 1 score on an interception return for a score. Handoff to Jajarian Craig, the Demopolis native, able to get some positive yards. Now, if you're Coach Slater, why do you make this change in what is considered crunch time in a rivalry game?
He trusts his quarterbacks. He was a former All-American quarterback in high school, an All-American quarterback in college. He knows you could call him the quarterback whisperer, so to speak. So he's going to play this chess match because each of his quarterbacks have a different set of features that they do, that they can execute and that they excel in.
2nd down and 7. Ezell getting some pressure, flag is thrown. This may be all coming back. He goes up the backside of one of his offensive linemen, close to a first down, but this may be all for naught, and there's a Tuskegee player who is down at the 30.
Holding, offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
And that is the player who just came back from injury, Leeward Brown, the junior from Miami Gardens, Florida, and it looks like he's still trying to work himself back into football shape and will have to go to the sideline.
And one of the things that Coach Slater does, I asked him earlier this season, because they have a situation when you commit a penalty, there's a punishment. And Coach Slater says if you commit a 10-yard penalty, you've got to do 10 of something, which might be you have to do 10 stadiums. And when I say stadium, I mean you run every step in the stadium 10 times.
2nd down and 15. Ezell with time. Ball is batted down by a Miles defender. Ashton McKenzie, who already has 2 sacks on the day, and now a pass block.
McKenzie got right there in that passing window, settling in. He was in that no man's land, but what happens is the quarterback for Tuskegee has got to put a little more air under the ball to get it over those defenders, but keep that zip so that the defenders can't react on it.
And for Jamarcus Ezell, if he can bring his team back down 4, he will have the night as a legend. Ezell. Flag thrown. Another flag. Catch is made, but this may all be coming back.
That wasn't just a hold just then. That was an actual takedown and a horse collar block.
A horse collar block. New terminology this evening.
Holding, offense, number 57, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Kelvin Shelton, the senior out of California.
Hey, punt return.
Now you say it was a horse collar block.
Yes. He was beaten badly by the defensive end, and the only thing he could do is just reach and grab for the back of his shoulder pads and pull him down. They call it a horse collar tackle, so he's trying to block him, so how about a horse collar block?
Okay, new turn. 3rd down and forever for Tuskegee. Ezell still in at quarterback, the young freshman. Has some time, getting pressure now. And he runs out of bounds, brought down for the sack. Once again, big play, this time by Josephus Smith, the young man from Leeds, Alabama.
And Coach Ruffin is excited. You watch the replay. Ezell nowhere to go with the football. Protection to cut. Protection start to break it down. So he's trying to take what the defense gives him. Defense says, I'm not giving you anything. No way. Not today.
And for Josephus Smith, he is a prototype Division II nose guard at 5'8", 270 pounds.
That's almost like a tree stump.
That can move. Vaccaro with the punch. And on the return, with some room to run and more room to run, out of bounds. Great play by Devin Brown. Devin Brown, he's not even on the depth chart, but he comes out of nowhere, and he has played in explosive spots on the field when Miles needs him the most. But right now, with 3 minutes and 21 seconds away from the Golden Bears, walking away with a victory right here on Aspire.
I won this.
And you see the Miles College Golden Bear cheerleaders. And handoff for a gain, short gain. Jonathan Clark. We've seen Jamarcus Nance, Ja'Carri Jackson. We've seen a number of running backs play this evening, and now timeout. 3:14 left to play, 2nd down and 8. Now, if you're Miles, how do you put this game on ice when you've got a defense that has done everything to keep you out of the end zone?
Bottom line, Coach Ruffin has a saying, just keep chopping wood, keep working. And that's what this team is doing. They're moving the ball systematically down the field now. They've found something because Coach Ruffin is a firm believer in conditioning. These guys run from can't see morning to can't see night. And they will be in shape. They're going to give you 4 quarters, and that's what the Tuskegee team, man for man, said in the press conference earlier this week, that Tuskegee is going to fight you for 4 quarters, and that's indicative of Coach Ruffin's style of coaching.
As the Vulcan shines bright across the skyline here at Birmingham, Alabama, with 3 minutes and 14 seconds away from the Golden Bears' roar of victory. Or will it be the Golden Tigers who will claw their way back into this ball game?
And right now, if I were Tuskegee, I'd take a timeout.
And Jonathan Clark slow to rise after that carry.
And Clark tried to do a matrix type of move as he put his hand on the ground and tried to do a 360 spin to stay on his feet, and he was tackled simultaneously.
You know, my daughter did the Matrix a couple of nights ago. The Matrix is real.
Okay.
We're trying to get her to go to bed when you've got a 2-year-old. For those people at home, you know, you're always trying to do anything. So we're playing some music, and she's dancing. We don't know where she learned how to dance. So then we said, okay, we got to get her to go to bed. So we start playing some slow, quiet storm music. You know what she does? She starts dancing slow. I'm like, what? My daughter is the Matrix. So now, third down 9. Yeah, that little girl, Lord have mercy. 3 minutes, 6 seconds left to play. And another short handoff. This time, Ja'Carri Jackson, young sophomore out of Montgomery. Tuskegee. So now they've used their final timeout. You're going to have 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. We're not sure who's going to come back and play quarterback. Will it be Lacey or Ezell? You've got 2 minutes, 58 seconds, but this is 4th and 7. If you're Miles, Eric, do you punt or
yes.
do you go for it?
You punt the football here simply because of the fact it's this chess match. You want to put Tuskegee in a position where they're going to have to drive the length of the field. Anything can happen, but knowing Slater like I do, he's got to have something planned. I wouldn't be surprised if, even if it's a field goal, that he's going to come after it. He's going to put 11 men on the line of scrimmage and come after this kick, whether it's a field goal or a punt. And it looks like Miles is going to try a 44-yard field goal.
For Christensen, Nick Christensen, the field goal kicker, he has missed 3, connected on 1, and no good. And now, with 2 minutes and 54 seconds left to play in the game, it will be Tuskegee's one last opportunity to try to pull this game out right here on Aspire. And we see some of the Miles faithful. They are cheering their team on as they're 2 minutes and 54 seconds away from another victory, this being the last home game of the season for the Golden Bears. Now, Lacey back in at quarterback, trying to drive his team for a late score. Pitch and catch made out of bounds. And are they calling it a catch? And you see Willie Slater, he is upset.
He can't believe the call. If you watch here, Lacey finds his guy. Looks like, does he have possession? Looks like he's got it.
And that was Kendrick Moncrief. It looks like it's a catch, but will they call it an incompleted pass? Remember, for the regular season in Division II, replays are not allowed. So that will be called an incompletion, which will bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Miles faithful. They're just happy that that replay does not count.
And you know, I have known Coach Slater for many years, and I have never seen him that irate at a call.
He was animated, to say the least. 2nd down and 10. Lacey getting some backside pressure. Once again, this time he finds a receiver, and will they say it's a reception? Yes, and they will move the chains.
And they ran the exact same play again, similar results, but this time the officials say he caught it in bounds.
Cheatham on the reception, able to move them out to the 40, make it the 39-yard line. 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. And this is another pitch and catch. Moncrief on the reception, moving at a faster pace, moving the chains, and now the ball is in Miles territory. Timeout called by Coach Ruffin and the Golden Bears.
And I think what has happened is Coach Slater has seen something in the Miles College coverage, because he's called the same play and the same route 3 times back to back to back. So in this chess match that we're calling a football game now, I'm wondering, is Coach Slater trying to set up a deep threat or maybe a pump and go?
Could be, or could it be that Coach Ruffin is trying to set up Tuskegee? Because if you keep going to that well too many times, one day that bucket's going to come up dry.
You're right.
And he has the defensive backfield that has shown they've got 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery, and all of those turnovers were led by that defensive backfield.
And Coach Ruffin in his 6th year here at Miles, and he's been rumored to possibly be going to another school. His name's been mentioned in some coaching positions elsewhere, but when I talked to him, he said he's going nowhere.
1st and 10. Lacey getting pressure, throws, ball is tipped and incomplete. Pass intended for Desmond Reese, incomplete.
And that's one of the rare drops we've seen from Reese tonight. He was open for a second. Looked like he had the reception And the defender on his back looked like might have punched that out.
Remember, the play clock is being operated on the field. The play clock is actually not working, so the officials are doing all of the hand signals for play clock. Lacey, pitch and catch to Reese. Check that. That was Moncrief on the reception, moving the chains, getting them closer. They have been close several times, but it's been Miles who has been able to shut the door, and now Ruffin once again makes a timeout for Miles College.
And they came back once again. And they call that same rollout and route again. And I think Coach Ruffin is trying to make some adjustments and maybe slide a linebacker in that passing window. Because you don't really have to, you still have to respect Lacey's running ability. But on the same note, you want to take away that pitch and catch pass.
And through all of the mistakes that have happened for Kevin Lacey, 3 turnovers. They're going to put 3 seconds back on the clock to put it at 2:05. Lacey has not wavered his confidence and not wavered his level of leadership. He has not put his head down. He is still motivated to try to get a win.
And I'll tell you this, James. I learned this a long time ago. Champions want the ball in their hands when the game is on the line. And that's exactly what you see with Kevin Lacey right now.
First and 10, ball at the 34. Lacey with plenty of time, throwing a backside pass, reception made. Room to run inside the 20-yard line, down to about the 14 is Leo Gilbert. The first time we've called the Miami native's name this evening, the 6'3 senior makes the big play.
And we talked about that. This time they ran the same play to the wide side of the field. Watch Lacey come over, and now he sets up with a throwback pass wide open on the backside because the defense over-pursued the front side. He almost took that one to the house.
Decisions, decisions, decisions. Now we're first and goal, ball at the 10. Flag. Play is stopped.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Same player who had the incredible catch. Leo Gilbert also responsible for the false start. They're putting 3 seconds back on the clock to put it at 1:55. Slater making that offensive call to Lacey.
And this young man really is an exciting individual. We talked earlier that he had the camos under his uniform, and I said he was hunting bears, and that's what he's been doing tonight, hunting bears with that football.
And 3 times he has had a turnover, but right now his confidence sky high, but pushed back, ball at the 15. Bullet pass, catch made. Reception by Jerome Lewis. The fullback with the reception. And as you can see, the Tuskegee faithful excited about the opportunity at hand.
Lacey, a little short slant route, wide open. The linebacker vacated the middle of the field because they were so concerned with those out routes. And that's what I talk about with that chess match. Slater was setting something up with those out routes. And now it's opening up the middle of the field. It's second down and goal.
Give to the fullback. Touchdown, Brandon Wilson. Touchdown, Tuskegee.
And a brilliant play call here. You feed the fullback, and you line up in the I formation. You give it to your fullback. He powers into the end zone, and 4 style points, lays the forearm out on the Miles defender.
Coach Slater called an offensive gem on that drive, making the right plays at the right time. Point after attempt, crucial here. Kick is up, and it is good. With 1 minute and 15 seconds left to play in this ball game, Tuskegee, who has been down for the entire game, Willie Slater and company has been able to come together, and now they have a 3-point lead with 1:15.
And now it's up to special teams, and now this Miles College offense to try to get back that momentum that they've just lost off this drive.
A wonderful crowd of 19,368 fans have come into Legion Field for the showdown at sundown. Miles College, Tuskegee, the battle in the SIAC West. Regardless of who's going to the SIAC championship game, this is about bragging rights.
Well,
this is about teacher, student, mano a mano. And now Dalton Hall with the important kick. Poole along with Brown back deep for Miles.
And like I said, this game was going to come down to the last drive. It was going to take 4 quarters to decide the victory, and it's still not over.
Kicks it deep to Brown. Brown will take it at his own 5. Flag is thrown, and he is brought down at about the 26-yard line. But this may be all coming back. There was a flag.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 83. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Be automatic first down.
And for Reginald Ruffin, his team, now they will have to work from their own 14-yard line. David Whipple, his final opportunity of a home game in a Miles uniform. He has led the Purple and Gold Golden Bears to an SIAC championship last season. Now can he lead them to a victory against their arch rival? Whipple with time, throw catch, incomplete, turn his bell.
And right now, you have to make these receptions. This is when champions are made, champions are born, champions are created. Legends are born on final drives.
2nd and 10. Whipple hit, catch is made. Positive yards, enough for the first down. They will have to move quickly. Reception by Jared Bates, the redshirt freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Pitch and catch. This time it hits the ground incomplete.
The positive thing about that particular play, it stops the clock.
46 seconds. Remember, the play clock is going to be called by the officials on the field because the play clocks are not operating correctly here at Legion Field. 2nd and 10. Whipple getting some pressure and smartly throws the ball out of bounds. Intended for Jackson, and he only stands 5'7". He threw that with about 6'8".
He'd have to have a rocket strapped to his back to try to make that reception.
Well, if it was, he'd just keep going up. But come down would be the hard part.
Well, as long as he stayed within the field of play, it's still he still can go in for a touchdown.
3rd down and 10, 40 seconds left. Defense for Tuskegee, spectacular. They have held Miles' offense out of the end zone the entire game. Pitch and catch, quickly wrapped up and swallowed up by Osmond Thompson. Catch made by William Kelly. 25 seconds and counting. They've got to move fast now on 4th down. Last hope for Miles. They need a first. Throw, incomplete. Tuskegee's defense holds. The defense, who has not allowed an offensive score, an offensive touchdown in this game, only one field goal by the Golden Tiger defense. And with 13 seconds, you can see the agony of defeat, especially for the Miles offense, who has tried everything to get into the end zone, but they were unsuccessful. And for Tuskegee's defense, they can cut a rug knowing they're 13 seconds away from a victory against their rival.
And there's nothing to hang your head about for the Miles College Golden Bears. This was a great game. It was a slobber knocker of an event. It came down to the absolute last possession. You come down the field and score.
Now victory formation. For Lacey. It hasn't been his best performance, but when they needed him the most, he did. For Miles, the heartbreak of losing their final home game of the season. For Willie Slater, a sigh of relief, knowing that they escaped and they are one step closer to solidifying their spot in the Division II playoffs. For teacher and student, Coach Slater is like he can't believe it. 13-10 is your final in a key SIAC Western Division rivalry. When we take a break, and we'll come back and wrap things up from legendary Legion Field for the showdown at sundown here in Birmingham.
Teach children in all ages from elementary to high school.
Final score from here at historic Legion Field. The showdown at sundown, it is Tuskegee with a come-from-behind victory. 13-10 is your final. This has been a wonderful game, Eric, in which we saw two great defenses. We saw two teams that pulled out all the stops, but in the end, it was Kevin Lacey with an offensive drive that helped his team get into the end zone finally for a score.
And I've said this earlier in the game, champions want the ball in their hand when the game's on the line. Kevin Lacey is a champion. He wants to win. He willed his team to victory tonight.
What does this say about the Tuskegee defense? They did not allow an offensive touchdown in the game.
Once again, statistically, they are number one in the SIAC in defense, and they're in the top two defenses in the country in the NCAA in Division II in total defense.
Now, when you look at Miles College, they're a team that really offensively struggled, but defensively they played well, forcing 3 turnovers.
They absolutely did. They're number 2 in the conference in almost every category defensively. They just couldn't muster the offense to try to put a few more points on the board. Once again, nothing for the Miles College Golden Bears to hang their head about. They played a magnificent ball game tonight.
Now, coming next week, we have Kentucky State taking on Fort Valley, 2 relatively newcomers when it comes to the SIAC championship game. Let's see if we can do a quick scout for Kentucky State. What's going to be their strength?
They're going to try to run the football. They like to run that Auburn inside run game. They like to try to pound it between the tackles. So look for a heavy dose of that running game.
Fort Valley, for those of you who have followed us on Aspire, we saw them opening the season right here at Miles College. They played a competitive game, but they lost to Miles. What can we see from Fort Valley now that they've had a full season under their belt?
Well, now Otis Brown is now the quarterback for the Fort Valley State Golden Wildcats. And he's kind of settled in at that position, so look for him to lead them He's one of those all-purpose quarterbacks that can run the ball, pass the ball, do whatever it takes to will his team to victory.
And to wrap up here at Legion Field, what can you say about 19,368 fans showing up here at a Division II game at historic Legion Field? It looked like everything came together at the right time. Right weather, right two teams, and a very exciting game.
Raucous crowd. I love HBCU football, and this is exactly what you want to see at an HBCU event. And if you weren't here, you missed a treat.
All right, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Our final goodbye, but as the final score, 13-10 in favor of the Tuskegee Golden Tigers right here on Aspire. Final score here from historic Legion Field, 13-10 in favor of the Tuskegee Golden Lions over the Miles Golden Bears. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. Eric, let's talk about what's happening next week. We do have the SIAC Championship game right here on Aspire. Next week that game will start at 6 p.m., but let's talk about Tuskegee. They just recently rescheduled or scheduled a game that they feel can help them solidify their spot for the playoffs.
Albany State University is going to take on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers next Saturday in Albany, Georgia. That's going to be another rock'em sock'em game and another tough opponent for Tuskegee, who doesn't shy away from that type of a challenge.
And for Miles College, they still have one more game. They'll be playing in the Turkey Day Classic against Alabama State. That game will be played in Montgomery at Alabama State Stadium, and this will be another opportunity for Coach Ruffin to try to motivate his squad, particularly his offense, to try to get back on track to get one more win to end the season.
And we talk about what's going on with Miles' offense. It's just consistency. You see flashes of greatness, and then you see some mental lapses. And he'll have some time to correct that and look for him to come out to a different team next week.
Overall, a whale of a ball game. Thank you for joining us here on Aspire for the SIAC Game of the Week. And remember, next week, the SIAC Football Championship game, 6 p.m. right here on Aspire.